Hi there, I'm going to tell you exactly how to deal with cravings in this video, and I'm going to give you three solid techniques, a three-step technique to banish them forever. I've helped hundreds of clients over the years use these intuitive eating techniques to banish cravings, kick diet culture to the curb, and ultimately make peace with food. Welcome. Okay, so first I want to address what is a craving, because you might be thinking like, well, maybe this isn't a craving. I don't know what she's talking about. So a craving, it's a really broad definition, no doubt up for interpretation, but for our purposes here, it's an intense hunger for a particular food. So it's when you are dying to have cheese fries and nothing else will do but cheese fries. Or maybe you're dying to have ranch Doritos and nothing else will do but ranch Doritos. Okay, so now that we know what a craving is, what can cause them? Well, there's a few things that can cause them. It can be a biological need for a particular nutrient. Now, this doesn't happen very often, but that can be the case. Sometimes it's because of a biochemical change, right? A hormonal change or blood sugar change. Think of it that way. And that can occur in both sexes, by the way. Those cravings aren't often very specific. Sometimes cravings can be triggered by habits or situations. So think of like going to the movies and eating popcorn, right? Those two things kind of go together. Or beer and wings and football, for example, might be another thing that happens. So when we're constantly bombarded with cravings and it causes some issues, right? Because when we are bombarded with cravings, it causes us to go against our body's innate biological wisdom. Our human suits are really, really smart, right? And I always say, if you're quiet enough, you can hear what your body has to say. And so what happens when we're constantly bombarded with cravings? People think, oh my God, I'm doing it all wrong. And they just flip the switch and they jump on restrictive diets, pills, patches, shakes, and other quick fixes. That doesn't work, okay? I'm gonna give you three things that do work, or three steps to do that do work. But restrictive diets, pills, patches, shakes, killer cardio, Herbaplexa, Thrive, Level, whatever it is that has been sold to you as a Band-Aid is not a fix. In fact, 90% of people who use those methods, who use restrictive diets and miracle cures and fixes, actually find out that the whatever it is that they're trying to fix, their cravings, their weight, all of that stuff, it comes back. So it doesn't work. 90%, and that's a scientific statistic from a study. 66% of those people find that when they do find success using one of those methods, that success is temporary and that weight boomerangs back. The cravings come back, it all comes back, right? So we're gonna talk about three steps. Here we go. 3 steps to get rid of cravings. The first one is to give up. And I know you're thinking, what the hell, crazy lady? Like, why would I give up? Here's the deal. Here's what I want you to give up. I want you to give up killer cardio. I have had clients come up to me and say, I've been on the treadmill for 45 minutes a day, all 10 days, twice a day this week. Or all 10 days this week. That's a really big week. But twice a day for the last 10 days. And I'm like, no, stop. Because when you fall off that wagon, that's not sustainable. And when you fall off that wagon, you're gonna have guilt and shame and all this emotional mess around working out that much. So I want you to give up killer cardio. I want you to give up on the body wraps. They're super fun, but they're not doing much good. I want you to give up on those silly ass shake programs, okay? Replacing your meal for the day with a shake is not helpful. Give up on counting calories, carbs, fat grams, points, whatever it is you're counting. That's a disordered eating. Stop doing that. And like I said, give up the Herbaplexa, Live, Thrive mess that you're being sold. Now, I will sidebar this with, if you're having a protein shake for breakfast because it tastes good, it's enjoyable to you, it's easy and fast, those are reasons to have shakes for breakfast, but not as a tool for getting rid of cravings or losing weight, okay? Again, you may reach some arbitrary goal with these methods, but when you do reach that arbitrary goal, you have two choices. You can continue down that path of disordered patterns of killer cardio and not eating food and not enjoying food and counting and tracking all of this mess on into eternity. Or you can stop and it all comes back because you haven't fixed the problem at the root. So all of these things that I'm asking you to give up, I know a lot of them are security blankets, but if you give them up, then you can make room for the new stuff, the stuff that actually works. The second thing is equally as important as the first. The first one is give up. The second one is seek out. So I gave you some of the reasons at the beginning of this in the first 2 minutes of what can cause a craving, okay? The one thing I didn't mention is that most of the time, cravings are caused by emotional voids. So what you want to do is take a minute, pause, return to the present moment, usually taking a big deep breath, the kind that fills up your belly, letting it out, helps you return to the present moment and tune into your tummy and ask yourself, am I physically hungry? Am I actually hungry? And if you're hungry, you're physically hungry, then we're going to move on to step 3. If you're not physically hungry, we're going to seek out what the cause is. What are you actually hungry for? Because oftentimes you're not actually hungry for those ranch Doritos. You're stressed. Usually it's stress, but a lot of times stress shows up as angry, bored. It could also be that you're excited, you're celebrating. All of these things are reasons why we seek out foods that we crave when we're not physically hungry. So again, how do you know when you're physically hungry, aside from checking in with your tummy and figuring out? Physical hunger is different than craving hunger, right? Physical hunger for fuel doesn't occur based on the time of day. It doesn't occur because it's 12 noon and it's lunchtime, or it's 6 a.m. and it's time for breakfast. It doesn't occur because of social circumstance. So it doesn't occur because it's your birthday. It doesn't occur because it's Sally's birthday and there's a cake in the break room. And it doesn't occur because you walked by a pizza shop and you're thinking, wow, that smells good, right? Physical hunger isn't urgent, okay? Physical hunger comes on gradually. It's not picky. Physical hunger, anything will satisfy that need. Emotional hunger, the kind of hunger that often causes cravings, is a 2-year-old, okay? So it's a tantrum. You've probably, all of you have had an experience with a 2-year-old, and it's, sometimes you can find it, but a lot of times it's best just to give in and move on, right? But physical hunger can be satisfied with any type of food. Emotional hunger or a craving is generally a kicking, screaming 2-year-old that's got to have Takis right now, okay? So by pausing and shifting into the present moment, you allow yourself enough space to identify the cause, be it stress, anxiety, fatigue, joy, sadness, any of those things. And then you can find the appropriate solution for it. Coming up in my next video, I will share a whole lot more on the seek out step, because there's a lot more that goes to it, but I wanted to give you the basis here, because seek out, checking in to see if you're physically hungry, it's the basis for intuitive eating. It's the basis for a lot of the coaching work I do to help people through a health at every size approach, step into intuitive eating and return to that innate biological wisdom that your body has, and get rid of freaking dieting, because it doesn't work. It's disordered. It's not healthy. It sucks. Okay. So pausing, shifting, and breathing in, getting into the present moment, finding the root cause, and then finding a solution for it. And guys, sometimes the solution is to have the freaking cake, and that's okay too. And when you do have the cake, it's important not to feel guilty about it, not to have shame around it, because nutrition in general is not a every single morsel of food type situation. It's meant to be on a linear time frame. So it's meant to be over time, your nutrition over time, not in these little picture windows. So pause, shift in that present moment, find out what it is you're hungry for, and maybe see if there's another solution other than the Takis or the cake or the salad, whatever it is. And that brings us to the third step. The third step is to give in. And I touched on this a little bit a second ago, but give in. And you heard that right. Give in to the craving. If you are physically hungry and you want some freaking Takis, have some Takis, okay? It's okay just to give in. And you can give in with a healthy treat, or you can give in with a treat, or a historically classified not healthy treat. So if you are new at this, it can feel really, really uncomfortable to give in. It can feel like you're because you've probably been so ingrained in diet culture that it feels like you're doing something wrong. So I, as a holistic wellness practitioner, am giving you full permission to give in, because we are really, really individual in our biological and nutritional needs. Our bodies know better than whatever the latest diet book is. And so it's much better to eat it, enjoy it, be fully present with it, enjoy it body, mind, and spirit, than it is to arbitrarily disregard foods that you really want and deprive yourself, because deprivation leads to a big, huge catastrophe at the end, right? It leads to you wanting that food more. It's the big giant red button. Don't touch the red button. And you're like hovering your hand like, oh, I want to touch the red button so bad. And so it's not a healthy place mentally, spiritually, physically to be in that state of deprivation. When you're fully present and enjoying whatever it is you're giving in on, whether or not you're giving in to, a luscious green salad or, the biggest In-N-Out burger or a bag of Takis, make sure you're fully present with it, because the key to honoring your hunger not only is eating when you're physically hungry, but it's also stopping before you get to that overstuffed point, right? So enjoy. I always say check every 3 bites, especially when you're new at this. Take 3 bites. You'll probably find that after 3 bites, you might not be interested anymore. It might not be as fantastic as it was in the beginning. Or you might want more, and that's okay too. Just listen to your body. Listen to what your body's telling you. And by pausing, breathing, you can give your hunger signals time to register in your brain. Okay, and it'll allow you to stop way before you've eaten the entire cake or the family-sized bag of Takis, okay? So keep that in mind. It's called honoring your hunger. It's the very first principle in intuitive eating. And if you want a step-by-step guide to this, again, I'll be back next week with the Seek Out information, but if you want a step-by-step guide from this, you can download the 7-Day Spark, you can sign up for the 7-Day Spark completely free. I'll send you 7 emails over 7 days and guide you through getting back in touch with your body and figuring out your hunger and fullness thresholds. And you can find that at audreychristie.com/spark. So I encourage you to check that out. Let me know below if you have had any experience with, eating for hunger and eating for satisfaction and giving into your cravings and kicking diet culture to the curb. I'm Audrey Christie. I'm a holistic wellness practitioner, and I help people through my body wisdom method make peace with food, kick dieting culture to the curb, and return to their body's innate biological wisdom. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below. Feel free to click subscribe and definitely check out the 7-Day Spark. See you next week.